What's up with the sports world? The WTP Sports Dudes is in the building. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, man. Especially the guys on the crew that could not be here. What's up, Rob? We got Rob in the building. Happy Father's Day, my guy. What's up?
Happy Father's Day to you too. One take Zay. I'm feeling good this morning on this Father's Day. Ready to get pampered by the family. Let's go.
Then we got SEC Sean up in the building. What up, Sean?
What's going on with everybody? Happy Father's Day to everybody that's tuning in. Happy Father's Day to you two fine gentlemen. Yeah, I'm with you, Rob. Ready to get pampered by the family, man. But as soon as we done with this, I'm gonna hit my recliner. It's gonna go backwards, remote in hand, maybe a beverage in hand. Not real sure yet. We'll see how that plays out. And we're gonna enjoy the day.
Yeah, hey, man, we gonna go into this show and we're gonna talk about the opening lines of Fanduel win totals of the season that they got projected. We're gonna go through 10 to maybe 15 teams, pull up their schedules, kind of work through it, and we're gonna get y'all's opinions on whether or not these teams will hit their over or are they gonna hit the under. Man, listen. We're gonna start off with Notre Dame. And two, everyone that's in the chat, please like, comment, subscribe. You can find all the channels down at the bottom of the screen. Please, it don't cost you a thing to like, comment, or subscribe, man. We support the channel and we appreciate it if you do. But we're gonna go ahead and start, man. Notre Dame opened the season with a whopping 11 and a half, man. 11 and a half over and under total. We're going to pull that schedule up right now. This what we got. We got Notre Dame opening up the season with Wisconsin. Then they got the Rice Owls, Michigan State in Notre Dame Stadium, Purdue, North Carolina, Stanford. Then we got a big one on October 17th with BYU. And that's going to be played in Provo. We know how hectic Provo can get. Also, a tricky game with Navy midshipmen. And then November 7th, I know a lot of us think that's probably going to be one of the games of the year against in Notre Dame Stadium. Then Boston College, SMU, and then they finish out with Syracuse in New York. 11 and a half, man. What you guys think about this schedule? Will they get the over? Will they get the under? What tricky games do you see? Go ahead. Don't matter who start. Rob.
Man, I'm telling you right now, that is high, bro. They got 12 games in the regular season, and they're saying that they gotta win all 12 in order for you to win that bet. But when you look at their schedule, they all are winnable games. But, man, I'm telling you right now, if you slip up when you go to Provo, BYU is going to be a physical team that is going to try to eliminate that run game and force C.J. Carr to beat them. I think that's the game where Notre Dame can stumble if they don't come out red hot, because BYU was one of those teams that got left out of the college football playoffs last year. They retained their coach. And they really feel like they got snubbed last year. I think they're going to be ready for Notre Dame when this game comes. They probably got a great big old circle around it. I'm going to give Notre Dame this 11 and a half. I think they're going to get the over because I think they're going to go undefeated. But that game right there is the one I'm going to be most interested in.
Yeah, I'm kind of taken aback by 11 and a half. That's insane. But I'm going under. I see them losing a game, potentially two, just slip ups. Miami is going to be a wild card. We don't know there. That's kind of a toss up. BYU, we're going to see going out to Provo. That's a little different. And then don't sleep on SMU down there at the bottom of their schedule. And let's be another sneaky type team is Syracuse. If that quarterback is back and healthy, Syracuse looked pretty good until he went down last year. And that's up at the Carrier Dome. I don't think it's called the Carrier Dome anymore, but I mean, that everybody knows that that's a trap to play in that place. That place is crazy. So I'm going to go under. I got Notre Dame more 10-2, 11-1. So I take the under on this one.
Yeah, hey, listen, I'm with you, Sean. I'm taking the under, man. To have to go perfect in the regular season, even with the doable schedule, is a lot to ask, especially for, you know, kids is between 18 and 23 to tell them that they got to show up perfect every Saturday. I don't think that they lose more than one game, though. But 11.5, Fanduel, DraftKings, they all know what they doing when they doing an 11.5. They giving you whatever poison you want to pick. You got to choose it. You got to ride it out. So, and I'm with you. I think that SMU is probably the most tricky game on the schedule because right off of a game where you playing Boston College, you can probably get lax. This is a good tune-up game, I guess. But the week before, you playing a Miami team where I think they exhaust a lot of their energy, kind of try to refuel, bounce back against Boston College. And I think that SMU team, though, with an experienced Kevin Jennings, they could possibly get some things rolling against that Notre Dame team. But 3 games, Miami, BYU, SMU, that's the 3 games I really feel like it's going to come down to when you talking about whether or not they hit that 12. Hey, listen, we're going to just go ahead and jump right over to the BYU Cougars, who opened up at an 8.5 over or under. Let me get them pulled up. BYU opened up at 8.5. They got a pretty solid schedule, I feel like. They starting the year off with Utah Tech, Trailblazers. Then they got Arizona in Provo, Colorado State, TCU at TCU. They will have post game came in. Let's get post game in here before we move on to this. Can somebody add him to the screen?
Yeah.
Post game. Happy Father's Day, man. What up?
Hey, what's up, man? Happy Father's Day to you all. How y'all doing this morning?
Solid. Hey, you came in at the perfect time. We were just talking about Notre Dame's whopping 11.5 over under, highest in the country. I think Rob said under. I think we all said under. Rob, you said over?
Yeah.
I think they're going undefeated.
Okay. Rob went over, Sean went under, and I went under. Give us your thoughts on the 11.5, whether or not y'all go over, under, key games, the whole breakdown. Did we lose Post?
Yeah, we lost him.
Yeah.
There he is. He's
There
coming
you go.
back. I got him. Let me get him back in. We getting him. We got a spinning guy. There he is.
There we go. Little technical difficulties. But Post, we was going in on about the Notre Dame 11.5 over or under win total by FanDuel to open up the lines this year. You can go ahead and spill on. Do you think you guys will reach the over or the under? Key games to watch out for. Give us a full breakdown.
Yeah, man, this is 11.5. That's pretty high. But I don't think it's far-fetched at all. I think Notre Dame really has a great chance to go undefeated or end up with one loss. You just don't know. Starting with Wisconsin is supposed to be a better team coming into the season. I really like the quarterback they were able to get in the portal. So we'll see how that affects that team in that game. But I favor Notre Dame over Wisconsin. The more difficult games on this schedule, we all know Miami is going to be a battle. SMU should be a good team. BYU should be a good team. So those are the marquee matchups on the schedule. Uh, if I had to call it right now, I would say 11-1 would be where I'm kind of at for the Notre Dame season. But I would not be surprised if they went 12-0. You talk about a team with a loaded roster, a quarterback coming back for his second year under Mike Denbrock. We know that usually equals fireworks. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went 11-1.
Let me ask you, how do you feel about the Navy game? Could that turn out to be a tricky game?
The Navy game, I think it is a tricky game, but I don't think it would be a tricky game for Notre Dame. If you look at Marcus Freeman's track record, September home games are normally the games where we run into trouble. You know, the SMU or Boston College game could be tricky coming off of Miami, or in particular Boston College, because it's sandwiched between Miami and SMU, and we know that's a rivalry game. They played Notre Dame kind of tough last season, so I don't really think Navy. I mean, Navy, if you're not used to playing they style, their triple option, that smash mouth run game, I think it could be tricky for a team. But Notre Dame is used to playing Navy in that style of offense.
Okay, let me ask you a question real quick. But I mean, the Navy one's really good, but I think that helps you coming off a bye week before, so you get an extra week to prep for Navy. But one team I mentioned was Syracuse up at the Carrier Dome. If that quarterback is healthy and the way they looked last year with him, I had that circled as kind of a sneaky end of the season game.
Yeah, I get why you would say that. I do like that Syracuse team under Steve Angeli. If he's able to be healthy, Steve Angeli played really well last season before the injury. But again, if we just going off the track record of Marcus Freeman, the games to watch is the early September game at home. That's where Marcus Freeman or his teams tend to slip up. So will he outgrow that? Will he get his team ready and focused? Because you got to think, under Marcus Freeman these last 5 years, Notre Dame always gets better through the season. The early slip ups is the problem. So we'll see if he's able to fix that situation.
All right, yeah, we'll get back to BYU. I thought this is just a perfect chance to just slip right into, Miami. So here go Miami's schedule on the year. They start out the season with Stanford, at Stanford, Florida A&M, Wake Forest, Central Michigan. That first month of the year for them looked pretty solid, easy for them to get through. Then they go to Clemson. They got Florida State, Pitt, at North Carolina, at Notre Dame, of course, Duke, the Virginia Tech Hokies, and then Boston College. They got a lot of home games. The over or under for Miami is 9.5. It don't matter who want to jump in.
I'll jump. I'm gonna take the over on this. Looking through their schedule, I honestly see maybe one game. That I see them potentially the Notre Dame game could swing. Miami has a good draw. They dodge SMU this year. They do have Clemson, but what's Clemson going to be? Florida State, what are they going to be? So I think Miami has a really good draw this year. So So I'm definitely going over. If it's 9, I'm taking the over.
It looks like they gave Miami a little bit of love right here because I'm looking at the 2 schedules we went through so far, looking at Notre Dame's and looking at Miami's, and it's like look like Notre Dame has more competitive games on it than what Miami's does, and you're saying Miami has quite a few more home games, and it's like, come on, man, they're at 9.5. They got a 2.5 game cushion. That's I think they're going to be over, but I feel like their schedule should probably be saying 10.5 at least, the over and under. But I think they're going to get the over on this one. I do want to see how well they play early in the season. Will they have all the kinks worked out with Mensa? Is he going to be clicking on all cylinders with those wide receivers that he has? Because if you want to get them, you want to get them early, and that's how it is with most teams. Because as the season go, they usually get better. So I'm gonna take the over on that for Miami over that 9.5.
Yeah, for sure. I'm smashing the over for Miami this season. I it's the ACC, man, and who would have expected them to lose the games they lost last year? I think Miami is the team coming in with a better offense than they had last season, but I don't know if they'll have a better season or better defense than they had last season. That's the difference for me. But I'm definitely smashing the over. I can see them losing 1 game, maybe 2, maybe an in-conference game we don't see coming. Because on paper, man, this schedule looks really favorable. But again, we never know what team can trip you up during the season in conference play. So right now, as of right now, I'll take the over.
You know, when I look at this schedule at 9.5, I try to get into the bookkeepers' minds what they was thinking about with the 9.5, because this looked like easy money right here for me as a gambling man. I'm going over. I think it's really only 3 tricky games on here, and that's at Clemson. Because once again, that stadium is still that stadium. You know, Death Valley, that's still a tough place to play. And then, of course, that Notre Dame game, you got one of the best teams in the country right in sights, right in the heart of the season. They probably should be a well-oiled machine by there. And then that Virginia Tech game, I'm high on Virginia Tech. I think James Franklin is going to turn that program around year 1. And I think that will be a top 25 team by the time they come into Miami Gardens. Anything else y'all want to add about them?
Michael Parks 1260 is saying that Miami has the 59th ranked schedule in the country. So that's a clear sign that they have a pretty easy cakewalk. Possibly. You never know how these teams gonna play out with injuries and such, but when you got a 59th ranked schedule, you would imagine that their over and under would be a little bit higher than 9.5.
Yeah, man, schedule rankings and schedule rankings, though. You know, I gotta see what people look like when the season starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just think we rank teams early in the year, and sometimes, like last year, Penn State folded. Penn State probably raised people's schedule, their strength of schedule so high, but by the end of the year, what were they? You know, so I don't know. I think you got to see people for real. We're gonna get into Auburn. Auburn over and under is 6.5. Let me get their schedule pulled up. Auburn is 6.5. Post game, let me go to you with this one. I know you like this Auburn team while I'm trying to get this schedule pulled up. Why are you so high on Auburn? Because I've heard you say this recently. Is it the Bynum and the whole coaching staff transfer, or just go ahead and tap into that for us for a second?
Yeah, I don't think they'll win the SEC or anything like that, but I think they'll be a little better than expected. Getting Byron Brown and his receivers, essentially all his receivers, came over to Auburn with him. So I like that. I like his style of football. I'm really high on him. I think he's going to be a baller in the SEC. Uh, Yesterday, I said that I think Auburn had the best chance to upset Alabama in their rivalry game. So I like Auburn this year. What's their over under?
6.5.
6.5. Jeez, man, I'm smashing the over.
Here go the schedule right here. Let's start off with Baylor, Mississippi, Florida. They got Florida in Auburn. Then they turn around and got Vandy the next week. Tennessee at Tennessee. They're going to Knoxville, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Sanford, and they finish off the season with Bama.
Ooh, that's close, boy. That's gonna be close.
Yeah, that's man. They play some monster SEC teams. 6.5 sounds about right, but I think they'll find a way to get to 7.
Yeah, I really feel like this Auburn team has really been, they've had a lot of talent on their football team. The issue has been their quarterback. They haven't been able to have a quarterback who can muster up enough offense because they always had a good run game and a good run defense. They just have not been able to have a quarterback who could get it to those wide receivers that they've had on their roster. I think with Brown coming in and his dynamic style of play, being able to throw the ball, being able to run the ball is going to add a different dynamic for them. But, man, getting the 6.5 wins, I don't know. I only counted 6 wins in there. They're going to have to beat Florida. I think that's the next team on their schedule that they possibly could beat. The rest of them, I don't see them beating unless they can get Alabama. They might be able to win that one. So they might be able to get the 7, but I'm going to take the under. I'm
going under on Auburn. I'm going 6-6 with Auburn. Could be 5-7. That gauntlet they have when you go Tennessee, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. Granted, they get a bye week after Tennessee, but in 3 games in a row, those are 3 losses right there. Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss. That's 3. Tennessee's the 4th one. Their game is going to hinge. Rob said it. Their record is going to hinge on 3 games, and that's Baylor, Florida, and Vanderbilt. Those are the 3 games that are going to tell you what they're going to do. Alabama, who knows what Bama's going to be? Auburn's going to have talent. They're going to be, by then, there'll be enough film on Auburn for Bama. It's at Bryant-Denny. I don't think Auburn wins that game. If it was at Jordan-Hare, I believe they might win it, but I've got 5-7, 6-6 at the top for Auburn this year.
You got the under?
Yep.
Yes, man. I got to go under as well. I think really it hinge on the Baylor game. I think if they win that game to open up the year, then they're probably on track to win 7. If not, they're probably on track to win 5 or 6. That game is in Atlanta. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Y'all know I like these crossover matchups with these teams. I think we're going to learn a lot about the SEC this year and the ACC and the Big 12. We're going to learn a lot about where the strength really is because we got some crossover matchups that's just real interesting. But I'm going to go under, man. I like what they doing at Auburn, but I don't know. It's just so much. It's so many good teams out here this year, in my opinion. I don't think they're going I think they'll be bowl eligible. That's it. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and go straight to your Aggies, Sean. So we're gonna have you go last this time. Over and under for the Aggies is 8.5. Y'all opened up at 8.5 this year. Rob, let's leave you SEC. So we're gonna start with post game again. Post game 8.5. They return Marcel Reed. I'm pulling up the schedule for you right now. Do you think that they will reach the over or under this football season?
8.5. Yeah, they'll smash the over this season. When you talk about Texas A&M, Marcel Reed, and what he could be is what I think about. I think if he's worked on his game at all, I think Marcel Reed could be one of those dark horse Heisman candidates. When you talk about his weapons, Mario Craver getting Horton in the transfer portal. I know they lost a couple offensive linemen, but I don't expect that to be a huge issue. I think Texas A&M is one of the better teams in the SEC. And what I can't really see the schedule. Can you read it all, Zay?
They open up with Missouri State, and then let me see, Arizona State the following week. Then they got Kentucky at College Station. Then they travel to Baton Rouge to play the LSU Tigers. Then they got Arkansas at College Station, Missouri Tigers in Missouri. Hold on, my schedule just disappeared on me.
I got it if you want, Zay.
Yeah, read the rest from Missouri.
All right, you got then you get the Citadel. Then you go to Bama, to South Carolina. Tennessee comes to College Station, to Oklahoma, and Texas comes to College Station.
Oh, y'all didn't get Georgia this year?
No, I mentioned it before. Georgia has not played A&M in College Station since A&M entered the SEC. That's what I said the other day when Argentina played a soccer game in Kyle Field. Lionel Messi had played in Kyle Field before Georgia.
Wow. You got anything else on that post game before I go?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I think I'm going to take the over on this for Texas A&M. I think they're going to get a really good contest early in the season when they play LSU, but then they'll get a couple of easy matchups to go ahead and regroup and get ready for that back half of the season. So I'm taking the over on that 8.5 for Texas A&M. I think they're going to definitely be a 9-10 win season. At least a 9-10 win team this season.
This one's a little. Oh, sorry, I forgot about you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Man, it's your squad. Cook up.
Man, this one was tricky for me because of what we lost. 4 offensive linemen, a bunch of defensive players to the NFL. I mean, I trust Elko to get the defense going. The offense, you mentioned some of the transfers, Isaiah Horton, stuff like that coming in. Some of the offensive linemen, 4 starting linemen in the SEC have come in, so that helps. But I think the over. I mean, I think we start 7-0 at least. I think we're lucky to get LSU earlier in the season versus later. But I have a 7-0, and then we go to Bama, which, who knows what Bama's going to be. So I'm going to take the over. I pretty much see us either 10-2, 11-1 again, kind of in that range. I think the swing game for us is going to be Oklahoma, believe it or not, right before Texas. It's kind of a tricky game right there. So, but I'll take the over with A&M at 8.5 for sure.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Who's the best defensive player on y'all team?
That's a tough question. I would have easily said Damian Sanford, except he broke his ankle in the spring game. So we don't know what's going on with that. I really like our safety, Dalton Brooks. I really like Des Ricks out at corner. But some of the defensive players that he brought in the portal, that linebacker out of Tulsa looks really good. Looked really, really good in the spring game. But I'll tell you one I'm really curious to see something out of this year, and it's DJ Hicks on the defensive line. That kid was a 5-star coming out of where did he come out? Katy Pato High School. And kind of is just kind of like a Reuben Owens, just kind of been there. You'll see flashes, but you don't see the consistency from him. So if that kid puts it together, he's going to be a monster on that D line.
Didn't Texas and Texas A&M battle for him coming out of high school?
Yeah. The difference was his dad had ties to A&M.
Yeah.
That's what eventually pushed it over the top. You know, those legacy type kids. I mean, think of A&M. If there's ever a Matthews as an offensive lineman coming out of Sugarland or Fort Bend Elkins High School, he's going to A&M because that's where all of his dad and his brother and his they're going to go to A&M. It's a legacy thing. You know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see 3 losses. I'm gonna go over. Listen. I'm dealing with technical difficulties. I told you, Rob, I do not like these Apple products. These Apple products are really trash. But I think that LSU game is definitely a tricky one. That's the one that maybe can flip the schedule over. Outside of that Texas game, though, I see A&M going 9-3 this year. I think y'all probably lose later in the year against Oklahoma and Texas. And I think that LSU game will probably be the swing game to whether or not y'all end up with 4 losses rather than 3. But we're gonna get right into Rob's squad next. We talk about them Texas Longhorns. We already know they got 1 loss on their schedule at bare minimum. So the Texas Longhorns opened up at 9.5, right on the cusp of being that 10-win team to make the college football playoffs. We're gonna have you go last, Rob. Sean, go ahead and open us up about the Texas Longhorns.
What did you say? 9.5?
9.5 is what the opening line was.
Man, what are they smoking with the bookmakers? This has got to be massively under. They're going to be down there with Arkansas in the SEC standings. This team, Arch Manning is going to play like me at quarterback. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. Take the over, please. Take the over. I hate to say that, but I mean, Ohio State in week 2. I think we've talked about that game once or twice between all of us here. They've got some tricky games on the schedule. Texas has a pretty crazy schedule. And I know I've mentioned it. Going 8 straight SEC games is not going to be fun. You know, I think you get a bye week, after Tennessee? Yeah. And then, I mean, your remaining 8 games in the SEC is Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, LSU, Arkansas, and A&M. That's a pretty tough little stretch to navigate through. So I'm going to take the over with Texas at 9.5. I easily see them 10-2, 11-1. Like I said, I mean, they could drop a game to that LSU game late in the year is going to be tricky. And that's at LSU. So that's going to be, that's going to be a night game in Death Valley. Them Cajuns is going to be going nuts. So give me the over, though. Give me 10-2, 11-1-ish.
Yeah, I feel the same exact way. SEC. I like Texas. I'm going to hit the over for Texas this season. I know they got a nice little gauntlet there in the SEC, but I just believe they're an extremely talented team, and they'll be able to overcome the majority of those teams. Starting with Arch Manning, I love the way he played at the end of last season. I think they figured that thing out with him at the quarterback position. I think Steve Sarkisian is under a little pressure to get Texas back to the playoffs this season. I love what they did at running back. Colin Simmons is going to be a monster off the edge this season. So I'm pretty high on Texas this year. So don't let me down, Rob.
I will not let you down post game. I'm taking the over for my Texas Longhorns, but I'm going to tell you right now, if there's ever was a time when you wanted to get rid of that Power 4 game in a non-conference schedule, it is this year. Because this freaking schedule is unfreaking believable, man. You got Ohio State, bro. And then you look at that gauntlet, 8 straight games in the SEC. Then you get an LSU team late in the season who's probably going to be clicking on all cylinders by that point. Then you got to go to freaking Kyle Field and play Texas A&M. A rivalry game, it's going to be nuts, man. I just named 3 games right there that could put Texas at 9-3. And what if they don't win their rivalry game against Oklahoma? They could easily falter, but I think the Ohio State game is the key. How well they play in that game, how much confidence can they build to project them through the rest of the season is going to be key. I'm taking the over in this game because I think what post-game said and what everyone else has said, the talent on this Texas team is deep. And even if they lose somebody outside of Arch Manning, they got somebody that can come in and cover. Maybe Colin Simmons too. You're going to need both of them dudes out there every game. But I think Texas is going to beat that 9.5. But it's going to be really, really tough, man, because they got one heck of a tough schedule.
Hey, listen, I'm going over. I don't think this schedule is as tough as you make it seem, Rob. I really don't. I think on paper, y'all should probably be favored in every game, except for, September 12th, of course, where y'all actually did open up as the favorites in that game. We don't know how, but I'm thinking about this LSU and this A&M game. I think y'all got to win both of those, and y'all good. And I think that's very doable. Even though both of those games is on the road, I just feel like on paper, man, as we're looking at it right now, we definitely got to see what happens on the field and how these teams come together. But just as a bird eye view, every other game, I feel like y'all should be at least a touchdown favorite in, opening up. So I think I know you saying 8 straight SEC games, and that can get brutal when you definitely playing 8 straight games in conference. And knowing me feeling like the top team is much more closer than the middle team in the conference than it would be in like the Big Ten for how I think of it. I think the top of the Big Ten is way more heavier than the top of the SEC. So I think the talent is comparable, but I think this is definitely a playoff schedule. Like this will get y'all ready for the playoffs, and on top of that, it'll be like y'all gonna be battle tested. But I feel like y'all have enough close games to where by the time the playoff roll around, y'all know what to do. So I'm going over. I think y'all win. I think y'all go 10-2 with this schedule. But y'all can't drop against Florida. That's the only thing. Don't drop against Florida this year, man.
Hey, well, listen, that's the one game I know for a fact Texas ain't gonna lose.
Yeah. Hey, we're gonna hop right into my Buckeyes next. We opened up as a 9.5 over and under. I think that's a product of the schedule as well. Let me share it to the screen. We opened up the season with a cupcake. Then, of course, y'all know we played Texas in Austin. Then we Got Kent State, another tune up. Then Illinois comes to Ohio Stadium. We'll battle for the trophy. Then we got at Iowa in Iowa City. Then we got Maryland at home in Ohio Stadium. Then we travel to the defending national champions, Indiana Hoosiers in Bloomington off week. Then we're at USC in the Rose Bowl. Then the Oregon Ducks roll into town, Northwestern the following week, and then at Nebraska. And then, of course, the game at the end of the year against the Wolverines. Anybody can tap in first. It don't matter.
I'll jump off first. I think this is a really, really tough schedule for Ohio State, at least on paper. Anyway, I was when the schedules first came out. I felt like they had the toughest schedule in the country, and then I took a look at Texas and thought maybe they would be going 1-2. But I really think this is a really tough schedule for Ohio State. But they're the Ohio State Buckeyes, which we know they're going to be more talented than most of those teams they're going to play. The only game that I think that they might take a loss in will probably be the Oregon game. But I think they want to show Oregon again that they're the kings of the Big Ten, and they'll win that. But I think Indiana will play them well also. So I think I'm going to go definitely with the over. I think they're going to be at least 11-1 team, if not 12-0.
Man, that's you tasted throw up saying that, huh?
No, I didn't. I want to see y'all do well as long as y'all not playing Texas.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I look at the schedule. There's some games. I honestly think the Oregon game is going to be key. I think Oregon, at least skill position wise, can kind of put out on the field what Ohio State puts out on the field this year, especially. My trick game, the game I see is tricky. Is sitting right there on 10-3, traveling to Iowa. Everybody knows crazy things happen in Iowa. I mean, y'all saw ghosts coming out of the cornfields in baseball. So, crazy things happen in Iowa. But I honestly see y'all for sure going over 9. I think 9 is actually really, really low. I see a good 10-2, 11-1, if not undefeated. Indiana's going to be a game that's turned into a pretty good game. Traveling to USC, what's USC going to be? USC ain't going to have no defense, but they're going to be scoring points. But they can't stop nobody. They never can under Lincoln Riley. So 10-2, 11-1. 10-2 is the low, the floor for this team. So that's just where I'm at with Ohio State.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over for Ohio State this season. Even though, man, they got some really difficult games, man. You can't Oregon, Indiana, the even though Michigan, they're better than Michigan, it's still a rivalry game, and they're coming off a loss against Ohio State. And then you add the Texas game. Those are some really big matchups for Ohio State this season. But I mean, I just like saying is Smith, the running game. You insert Arthur Smith as their new offensive coordinator. I'm interested to see the style of play they use and how that affects the players, good or bad. But I mean, I'm gonna smash the over for Ohio State, but man, they got some big matchups in that Big Ten, brother. And for that defense, can this be a case where they lost a lot of talented players, but they actually played better? I've seen that scenario sometimes. Sometimes the most talented teams are talented defenses where you say they got multiple talented players, as we've seen in the NFL draft. They lose those players, but they actually play better or at least at the same level.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with the over. I think we go 10-2 this year. I think we drop game at Texas. Texas better not let us beat them on their home field. They better not, because we done beat them the last 2 times we done played them. I think they need to, protect their home field. I think they need that game much more than we do. And then the other game I think we lose this year is Indiana. I think Sig does not lose at home, so I just don't really see. I mean, I we have a chance in the game, but I just don't see us winning that game in mid October. Uh, but brutal schedule. I love it because last year it was the total opposite. I don't think we was prepared going into the playoff. I think this year we'll be fully prepared, locked and loaded. Because we'll probably have 7 close games this year, and that's unheard of for a Ohio State schedule. Just because when you take one of the best teams in the Big Ten, you can't play yourself. So, and that's just where it's at with that. I wish Polar Bear was here because we got to tap into his Wolverines, man. The Michigan Wolverines, I think, opened up at 7.5, if I'm not mistaken. No, they opened up at 8.5. Michigan opened up at 8.5. Post game, I'm gonna jump right back to you on this one. We got the schedule pulled up for you. Week 1, they got Cupcake Central, Western Michigan. They play Lil Bro. Week 2, they got OU. I think that game is in Michigan this year. Man, this Apple product, man, I'm telling you, this MacBook is no good. It's just jumping everywhere on the screen. Y'all see it? The following week, you got UTEP, and then the Iowa Hawkeyes come into Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, and then they follow up with a underrated, I think, a slept-on team in the Big Ten, which will be the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I think that's a sleeper team in the Big Ten this year. They'll be at Minnesota and Minneapolis, and then they got a bye week. Then they host Penn State. This is a nice little stretch right here of Minnesota, Penn State, Indiana. What I think is Minnesota, even that Iowa game. That's a good 4-game stretch right there. Then they got to travel to Rutgers. Then they got Lil Bro again with Michigan State. Then they go to Eugene to play the Ducks. Then another sleeper team in the Big Ten, I think, this year with the UCLA Bruins. And then, of course, the end of the year, they got the game with an 8.5 over under post game. What do you see in the schedule?
I'm smashing the over. I just am, man. I like Michigan. I like Kyle Whittingham is going to bring so much stability to that program. And you spoke on Minnesota, bruh. Drake Lindsey, the quarterback from Minnesota. I'm going to say right now in the preseason that he'll be a top 3 quarterback in the Big Ten. That's my prediction. But as far as the schedule goes, Kyle Whittingham, can he bring out the best in their quarterback and Michigan's quarterback this season? I think he has his potential is untapped as of right now. If he can tap in that potential and put that quarterback in position to be successful, I really like this Michigan team. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, the John Henry guy, the transfer from Utah, who's supposed to be a monster pass rusher, if he's healthy, because I believe he's coming off ACL surgery, if he's healthy and able to play this year, I really like Michigan then. But I'm going to smash the over. Some very tough matchups. Oklahoma that early is going to be tough. But I can see Michigan being a top 3 or 4 team in the Big Ten this season. So I'm going to take the over.
Man, this is a tough one right here, bro, because you really don't know. You know that Michigan's going to have a good running game. You know that. You don't know what the wide receivers are going to look like with the quarterback. Are they going to let him throw? Are they going to let this offense be open? I know Kyle Whittingham is going to have a gritty defense and a run game. But, man, this is a tough schedule. You got Oklahoma. Even though you got Oklahoma at home, you're playing a really good Oklahoma football team. John Mateer in his second year. at Oklahoma, but really his third, fourth year in that offensive system with that same offensive coordinator. That could be a tough matchup for them. Then you got to play Iowa, which we know Iowa is going to be a good team that's going to be ball control as well and keep the game close. So down the stretch, that could be a game that could possibly lose. Then you got two big games. You got Oregon. No, three. You got Oregon, Indiana, and you got Ohio State. That is going to be a really, really tough schedule for Michigan, man. I think they could easily go 8-4, 7-5. I'm hoping that they beat this 8.5 over and under. I just don't see it, man. I do not see it. I think they're going to be an 8-4 team this season.
That's exactly where I have them, 8-4. I have them dropping Oklahoma, Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State. That's the 4 losses I see. Right?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
They could beat one of those teams, but I think Oklahoma I think that's going to be your swing game right there. I honestly think they'll lose Indiana, the other 3 in the Big Ten, but that Oklahoma game is going to be a swing game. And you said it, Rob. Mateer's been in that offense for 3-4 years. We know Oklahoma's going to have a stout defense under Venables. We know that. It's going to be a matter of who can run the ball the best. And, can Oklahoma find any kind of offense? If Oklahoma finds their offense, they can beat Michigan up in Michigan. But that's the swing game to me. I've got them 8-4. I've got them dropping that game.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Sean. 8-4, 7-5. I think they gotta be happy to make it out with this schedule. Oklahoma, and I don't think people are as high on Penn State as I am. I like Penn State. I like Rocco Beck. I like everything they brought over from there. So I think that's a tricky game as well. But Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State, I think you could pencil them games in as losses. But I'm telling you, even playing UCLA is going to be a tough game this year. I think Nico in another year in that offense, they brought a lot of transfers in. That's going to be a different UCLA team this year, and people better watch out. And I don't think they're going to win nothing but maybe 5 or 6 games, but what they're going to do is they're going to clip somebody that they ain't supposed to clip. And I don't think they're going to beat Michigan, but that's going to be a tough game for Michigan, I believe. And I do think that UCLA will clip somebody. And UCLA even opened up as a 6.5 favorite too. So, the bookkeepers see the same thing I think I see. You feel me? So is there any other team specifically y'all want to tap into? I want to definitely do the defending champions in Indiana, but before we do that, we could do one more if y'all wanted to tap into a specific team.
I would
like to look at Texas Tech.
I was thinking Tech or Houston, somebody out in the Big 12.
Yeah, we could do Tech. Or let's do Tech. I meant to get back to BYU for real. That's the one we were supposed to do from the Big 12. BYU, Tech, Houston. Who else out there?
Utah
should be Utah should be good this year.
Yeah.
Houston. All right, Texas Tech. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Y'all know this Apple product. This is the last time I'm ever using this. I ain't gonna lie to you.
While we waiting on Zay, what do y'all think of? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I've got Tech schedule when you're ready, Zay, if you want.
Oh, go ahead and read it off while I'm pulling it up.
Well, hold on. What were you gonna go with, Rob?
No. Go ahead, SEC Sean.
Okay.
Read it off.
All right. Starts with Abilene Christian at home, on the road at Oregon State. Big game here. Houston at Texas Tech. Then they get Sam Houston. Then they go to Colorado, host Arizona State, at Cincinnati, Arizona at home, West Virginia at home, at Oklahoma State, at Baylor, and then host TCU to close the season.
Does it give their over and under?
I don't have the over and under for them.
Yeah, Texas Tech was at 9.5. Mm-hmm.
I'm under 8-4, 7-5. I think all the offseason stuff has got to put some kind of disarray in that program. I mean, I know Will Hammond is good, but he's coming off an ACL. You know, let's be. What are you going to get if he's not going? Who's after him? So I'm going under. I think Texas Tech takes their normal step back here this year.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. I do think there's going to be some, I don't know what you want to call it, some I don't know, backlash from the off-season drama. Maybe that takes a toll on the locker room. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I still think Texas Tech is a extremely talented football team, especially on that defensive side of the ball, and especially comparing them to Big 12 teams. I think Texas Tech is a team that's going to be right there in the thick of things for winning the Big 12. I don't know if the quarterback play will be enough to put them over the top when you talk about teams like BYU, possibly even a Houston team. So I'm going to say, man, that's tough. 8.5, or was it 9.5? 8, was it 9.5?
I think it was 9.5.
9.5. Man, because that's like right where I think they're probably going to end up. So man, I'm gonna take the under, man. I think that all that drama does a little damage to that locker room, man. So that's where I'm at with Tech.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was 9.5.
Man, that might change the picture a little bit for me, because I think they're going to have a little bit of issues with what's been going on in the offseason. But at the same time, I really like Joey McGuire as a coach, and I really like Texas Tech at home in all of their home games. I don't care who they playing at home. Their crowd is going to be absolutely nuts, and they don't really allow teams that are not outside of their conference to really come into their stadium in Lubbock and win games, man. So I think if they got 7 home games, that's going to be 7 wins for them. And I think they can win another 2 outside of that to get the 9. I'm going to take the over. I think they're going to go 10-2. I think by the time they get later on in the season, around game 5 or 6, maybe Hammond will be back 100% or close to it, or good enough to help them win down the stretch. Even though I think his last name is Francis, might have to carry the load in the first couple of games. But I'm gonna take the over in this one, because I just feel like Texas Tech still, in terms of talent on their roster, is much better than the rest of the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm going over. I think the first 7 games, Abilene, Oregon State, Houston, Sam Houston, Colorado, Arizona State, Cincy. I really don't think they could only lose to Houston in that. Like, Arizona State team got torched in the portal. I don't really know what Colorado got over there, but I don't know about Colorado. So Oregon State is Oregon State. You know, that program is down right now. That I'm not worried about nothing in that first 7 games except for the Houston Cougars. Now I think this is where the schedule start getting tricky, when you got to go, when you got to play Arizona and West Virginia, Oklahoma State back to back to back. I think all 3 of those teams have really good offenses. And I think that's where the season's made or broke. You know, that 3-game stretch right there. I think they win every other game on their schedule, though.
The trick is they got that 3-game stretch you mentioned. You might as well call it a 4-game stretch with Baylor's offense. Y'all saw what Baylor's offense looked like last year. Depends on what you get out of Lagway. But Baylor had an offense last year too. One favor for Texas Tech, I will say, is they don't get Utah or BYU. That's a big advantage for them.
That is true.
All right, we about to get into the defending national champs, Indiana Hoosiers. They opened up as 9.5 as well. We're gonna start with you, SEC Sean. You got the schedule pulled up. I'm pretty sure you do.
Give me
so
one
go
second.
ahead.
I'm pulling it.
Yeah, you can jump right into it once you pull it up and give us your breakdown.
All right. You're starting off with North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky. Then you get into your Big Ten slate. You got hosting Northwestern, at Rutgers, at Nebraska, hosting Ohio State, at Michigan, hosting Minnesota, hosting USC, at Washington, and then at the end, their so-called rivalry game with Purdue at Indiana. What was the over and under on them?
9.5.
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go 10-2 probably. Even if they lose to Ohio State, I see them being fully undefeated going into that game. They got some tricky ones on there. At Michigan could be tricky for them. You mentioned yourself, Cignetti doesn't lose at home. They've got, Minnesota's at home, USC's at home. The only other tricky game I really see could be that travel to Washington, just due to travel. And, traveling from, east to west is always a little difficult. But I think they've got a plan on how to handle that. So I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I was going to beat the defending national champions up about this schedule, man. But then when I went back and looked at it, I see they got Ohio State, they got Michigan, they got Washington, they got USC on there. So that's not too bad of a schedule because those Big Ten teams are at least going to be in your top 6, I believe, in the country, along with, Indiana being one of those teams in the top 6 as well. I'm going to take the over on this one. I got faith in Cignetti to get through there, but it's going to be tough because I really feel like they may lose one of the two between Washington and USC, and they might lose one between Ohio State and Michigan, which means that's going to put them at 10-2. They could easily drop another one. I don't think they will. So I'm going to take the over, and I got them 10-2.
Yeah, agreed, fellas. I'm taking the over as well with this IU squad. They got some really difficult matchups. They lost some players to the NFL, but I love what they did in the portal, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I even like them getting Josh Burnham, the defensive end from Notre Dame. I think he's going to be a key addition to that defensive line. But I can see them definitely going 10-2. I don't think this will be as strong of a team as it was last season, but I think they'll be right in the thick of things. They'll be right there with the better teams in the Big Ten this season.
Yeah, man, I'm going over as well. Man, I don't like that schedule. Cignetti got to get out of that. He got to take that Howard thing off of there, or that Western Kentucky. He got to take one of them off. As a Big Ten power, now you done enter yourself as a Big Ten power. We got to play marquee games, bro. Ohio State, Michigan, we always playing marquee games. Oregon, they ain't got marquee game. Like when they scheduled it, they didn't think Oklahoma State was a marquee game, but now you see what Oklahoma State got over there. So as Indiana, as a brother in the conference, y'all got to do better, bro. We don't want to see that. Go play somebody from the SEC or the Big 12 or something, man. They got 4 games on the schedule though. Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Washington, Minnesota is still a sleeper team in my opinion. I think they will handle them though. And I think they win 3 of the 4 games. Like I said, I think Ohio State probably. I think we might lose that game going into Indiana. But I can see them losing to USC at home, even though I don't think they lose at home. I think that Lincoln Riley need this game so bad. You feel me? That they ain't got no choice but to win that game, or somebody might be calling for his head this year. You know, I think that's like a must-win game for Lincoln Riley. So I'm gonna take Lincoln Riley because I think he has to win that game. Washington, it's always tough to travel from the Midwest to the West Coast. That's gonna be a tricky game, but I think Indiana still win that game. They should all the way be fine-tuned by then. And then Purdue the end of the year. You know, Purdue is Purdue. Even though Purdue usually clips somebody, but 10-2 for me is about what I feel. Looking at the Indiana Hoosiers, defending champs, but terrible schedule. That's a terrible schedule, Rob. You was being graceful. That's a terrible schedule. Hey man, happy Father's Day to y'all again, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all got anything else y'all want to spill?
I got a question for y'all real quick, man. Is there any game on y'all, any road game on y'all schedule that you would like to attend with police security?
With police security.
Oh, you're going to have police security to go in some of them stadiums, bro.
I mean, the easy answer is LSU, but go back and rewatch last year's game and look at the fourth quarter, and we just emptied the stadium. So that one I'm not worried about. We just got to survive till the fourth quarter, and then they'll all leave because they're getting blown out by us. South Carolina, believe it or not, South Carolina would be the one for me for A&M. South Carolina fans are insane, dude. They start getting that sandstorm going over there over and over and over. Your brain, all the flashing lights, you acting crazy, going into, seizures and stuff from all that. Those South Carolina fans are not one to mess with.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna have to say at Texas or at Indiana. I mean, we got some good road games though. I wouldn't mind being in the Rose Bowl for the USC game. I'd probably choose Texas though. Because that's one of my destination spots that I'm planning on. I might move to. So Texas definitely.
Yeah, I really don't have one, but if I gotta say one, it'd be Provo. I don't know how that fan base is, but I'll say traveling to BYU.
Yeah, Texas has quite a few on their schedule, man. But it would have to be Texas A&M. I would love to go to Cal Field, and I know for a fact I'm gonna need to have police security because them fans, man, listen, they may not do me no harm, but boy, they rock in that stadium, man. And I don't know if y'all caught the beginning of the game when they played Texas 2 years ago. That stadium was lit. And on SEC Sean's point about them South Carolina fans, I was in Rock Hill, South Carolina a couple of years ago. They were playing Tennessee. And I went to this pizza spot, and man, those fans was inside this pizza spot going ham. And South Carolina was beating the snot out of Tennessee. But those fans was going nuts in that pizza shop. So I can imagine how they would be in that stadium.
Kind of shocked post game. I thought the easy one for Notre Dame fan would have been going to Miami.
Miami come to us this year.
Mm.
If we were going to Miami, that would have been my answer for sure.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
say
South
you
Beach.
don't
South Beach is a different animal.
you don't need police escort going to Austin.
No.
Because you're going to get there and their fans won't even show up till about halftime. So you're good for the first half. And then if y'all do what y'all can do, they'll leave in the third quarter. So you won't need
That's
police
not
escort
true.
around.
That's not true.
Hey, Sean, I'm my own security. I don't need no security nowhere.
No, you don't need it in Austin. I'll be honest. Rob, you wouldn't
Yeah, you
need
don't
it in
need it in
Kyle Field no matter what. We're not like that. We hate each other. There's rivalry, but we don't ever do any bodily harm. Just watch out when you're in Texas. They do not get a sideline pass, because if you get a call against Texas while you're on offense, they're going to start throwing stuff at you like bottles and stuff. That's just what they do. Watch them.
Well, I just want one of these years. I want like somebody from like down. This would never happen. I want somebody to come to Columbus in November. You know, like November. This because we throw snowballs. We throw snowballs while you right there on your sideline.
Y'all don't do like Philly and put batteries in them, do you? And throw them at Santa Claus?
Yeah, I hope not.
All right. Hey, it was nice seeing y'all, man. I hope everybody around y'all pamper y'all fellas, because y'all are some brilliant guys, man. Happy Father's Day to y'all again, bro. I appreciate y'all, bro, and everything y'all do. You know what I mean? Hey, enjoy y'all Sunday. Enjoy y'all's Father's Day. Go spend some time with y'all's family. And we're going to kick it back on Tuesday. We got the show with SEC Sean coming, where we're going to do our ultimate college football schedule of the year. Please tune in at 7:45. All the channels are scrolling down at the bottom, man. Hey, y'all know what we say. We was in the building. Now we out. Peace.
We out. Hey.